My name is Jeremy Pack Nelson, and I'm part of the Poets of Colour Incubator. Poetry for me is a means of self-expression that offers something that I haven't been able to find in writing short stories or writing essays. It's been a way for me to look at parts of who I am as an artist and as a person in a way that feels more unfiltered somehow. Recently, I've been looking at how poetry fits into my own upbringing as a musician. My mother's side of the family are all professional musicians, and so I was raised in a culture of valuing practice and valuing work in terms of the pursuit of art. So how poetry fits into this is poetry is my way of bringing my love of words and storytelling together with the music that's always been a part of my life, and finding forms to give that shape, to give those, to give the words shape, and to bring in the same structures that I take for granted in music has been a big part of my focus in the last 6 months. I find a lot of inspiration from modernist poets, and I think a part of that is just their willingness to break established norms. That being said, there's so much incredible poetry now that I want to be in conversation with. Incredible poets like J. Barnard, poets that have been established for years, like Mary Howe. The way they find incredible resonance and meaning with what seems at first to be such simple constructions of words and lines is incredibly inspiring to me, because it points at what is harder to put into words. It shows us that poetry can get at something that we can't simply state, that it can only gesture at. And that's where I see myself going as a poet. I came to the incubator with this idea that I would talk about migration and diaspora, which speaks to my identity. And even though it seems obvious in retrospect, I didn't at that time think about how that related to my family's history before me. My grandfather himself was an active part of a diaspora, because when he was younger, he migrated from northeast China to Sichuan right at the onset of World War II. And after the Cultural Revolution, he came to Hong Kong. He had been migrating and part of diasporas his entire life. And, we have this maxim that specificity leads to universality. And even though at the very start of this incubator project, I was thinking I wanted to delve into this wider theme of diasporas and, what does it mean for the narratives we use in politics and media to talk about diaspora, and, how can we change that and challenge that? One opportunity that the incubator project has given me is the chance to work with other artists, and that has become much more meaningful than I ever thought it would. I've been working with Ula Feng, an artist who also came from Hong Kong to the UK. She's an incredible visual artist and teaches workshops and is a part of the Manchester community. Talking with her about her own experience of diaspora and her conversations with other people from Hong Kong who have made that journey here was a reminder of how rich and different and individual our experiences are. And that's something I'm grappling with at the moment, how my idea of what diaspora means as someone who's come from Hong Kong can be so different from someone else, and how it can be challenging for us to make connections even though we're part of the same diaspora, even though we share commonalities in culture, that every time someone leaves a place and goes to another, they bring a different part of that home with them. I'm going to read the ending of the poem The Hive from Tools to Teach the Piano, Notes from My Grandfather. Once the hive called you back, needing a clarinet capable of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. You play a stepwise rise and fluttering gliss through the central philharmonic heart, a wordless trilling dance the orchestra follows. You return to the farm. Your son, your wife, your daughter do not join you. Tend your rooftop garden high in the humid air of a southern city. Plant, prune to the tune of 10,000 window pane wings in a glass house. Your clarinet set aside, cased, alive with must. Your son, your wife, your daughter follow. Teach music. Take no honey from the hive. These bees are untamed.